I mean, almost any team that you give the ball will go and score. But the main thing is, how do you stop the other people from scoring?
Exactly, you know? because we have Colin Singera, a pretty fast guy, and like he says, if you have guys who can score, you've got to mind about the defense.
The defense.
Yeah. How important is that in sport?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, maybe talking from a footballer's point of view, the kind of leagues that I love to watch the Serie A and the Bundesliga so much. And in the Serie A, they stress a lot on the defense. Most of the teams that tell you they win the Serie A, they will tell you that they start with the defense. It's not like the Spanish La Liga, which is open, which they want to score 10 goals or blah, blah, blah. You know, so I totally agree with you that in as much as we can go attack, we have to mind about the defense. So watching the way Kenya played, if they strengthen their defense, and I agree with the director here, is that you have to stop Fiji from coming and then maybe try and counter them.
Because I saw they really pressed them in their own half, especially the first half. Fiji did not get out of their territory.
Yeah, I mean, the first half typically is all Kenya. And you can see from that kickoff, you know, where the Fijians pick the ball, but it comes down, and Andrew Amonde, the captain, does a big clear out, which then Oscar Ayodi scores.
Yes.
So definitely the defense was one big issue. But the other thing that is very clear is that they knew that we must play physically in this particular match. And our guys have become strong physically. And you'll see that even in the club game right now. Initially, all the strength and conditioning used to happen at national team level. But now the national team,
club level.
The national setup, they have to coordinate with the clubs and, okay, what have you guys, where are you at this particular point? And so on and so forth. Okay, you add this and take out that. So there is an element of the general growth and development within the game that's showing itself there, and definitely good tactics.
I saw the statistics that against Fiji, I think Fiji made the most errors. For the first time, I thought Kenya made very few errors at the end of it. How did that come about?
Typically, running sides will make a lot of errors because I mean they take more risks and things. Even Kenya has typically, Fiji has won tournaments by having the most errors in the tournament previously. But the thing is that when you minimize errors, and especially when you keep the ball possession when you have it, how can the other team score?
He talked about the conditioning, strength and conditioning of the players, and I thought for the first time the Kenyans were really looking very, very strong. And
apart from apart from
how is that achieved?
Apart from the norms that we eat to Gali, we looked good, we looked physically good. But then Toskin, I have a problem because we should maybe talk about how do we get to that level. From what stage do you get to that level? I think, like I come from Eastlands, you know, a place known as Maringo Estate. We have a field there. And I've been having problem with the MP telling them that even these sports, we can erect them. We should also have a rugby team here. I think it should be developed from primary school levels. If you can have maybe the rugby union, have a partnership with primary schools. I remember in primary school, we used to play football up to a certain level, provincial, nationals. You do that when you get to high school. But I think for the Kenya rugby, it's only big in high schools. Okay? So if we can go to these high schools and do exactly the same things like you're doing at the club level and try and see the best high school. Like when I was in Kakamega, it was good. Musingu, Vihiga, Mbale. You know, there are those high schools that you can single out where you can get special players to play for, you know, big clubs, and then go see their training regimes, do maybe workshops and seminars with them. You know, some high schools have money. You know, they can have a gym. You know,
you talked about the physical strengthening of the players. What exactly is happening at KRU, the national team? Because the last time out, when Michael Friday came, he really emphasized on that conditioning of the players. Are you keeping up with that? And how is it being
definitely
done?
It's a thing that was a big difference when Mike Friday was around. But the one thing that is typically not talked about a lot is that Mike Friday also came with a gentleman called Chris Brown, he's working with in the USA as well. So Mike Friday had a very big emphasis on strength and conditioning, but also skills. So, you know, Chris Brown was a complete package in the sense that he would be interested in your physical condition, but he'd also work on your skills. And around that, during that time, there was a lot of, our kickers were kicking very well, and so on and so forth. But same thing. The last time when Kenya was doing very well, Geoffrey Kimani was in charge of strength and conditioning, and he still is. You see, when we were sixth, and it was Benjamin Aimba again. So there is just no, we cannot overemphasize this.
And the clubs are doing exactly
and they're now
the same
doing a lot of that, and especially the ones at the bigger clubs, and it's definitely showing. But I wanted to comment on something that he has just said, because I worked at the Kenya Rugby Union for a while. Yes. We had a model for primary schools at that particular point, and you know, typically the Kenya secondary schools, I mean, not sort of school sports associations tend to want that the sports associations invest in a new sport, and then after that they can come in. So you do more or less the pilot, and we did the pilot.
You did the pilot.
But we just didn't have enough money to go right round, because it's a really, really huge undertaking. When you talk about the secondary school, you're talking about another 10, 15, 20,000 more primary schools. So it's a much huger project.
Actually, which brings me to this point that yes, we've won for the first time this one leg of the series. Do we have the resources to continue with this kind of thing? Should we now expect the Shujaa team to be winning you know, a series?
So they have to go to Paris.
Do you have
no, I mean, once you're
both human and also financial.
Well, I mean, you know, there's never enough resources, and obviously when you compare us with the top 10, Kenya and Fiji are nowhere even close. And you know, it's the beauty of sevens. It's the beauty of rugby sevens. But we must invest. For us to get consistent results, you must invest. And you know, the technical team must, you know, pour.
Who should invest?
As a country, we must invest. The union must invest. The people in the fraternity like myself and the club that I now deal with, we must invest. The government must invest. Everybody must invest if you want these results to come consistently. If you want to ensure that it is not a fly-by-night sort of result, you have to put in the resources. So, and it's everyone.
Which reminds us of the women football team that has qualified for the Cup of Nations. That everyone, after they won, after they beat Algeria, everyone was out there congratulating them. But do you see a situation where people will start investing in women football?
I think when we talk about football in general, if they cannot invest in what we saw, what about women football? Who knows women football? They just knew them because we tied with Algeria, now we're going to Yaoundé or Cameroon. You know, that's the problem. I think we have an issue also with the federation in something we used to call in college marketing. We need to market them. We need to see the importance of them. When you come to women football, the ladies don't even have a league. They don't even have a league. The coach, basically, you can talk to David Oum and tell her that I have this lady that I know, she's my neighbor, you can try her out. Because he doesn't even know where to get the players. There's no league. So he has to depend on maybe high schools or maybe a primary school somewhere,
but
or maybe a few clubs.
We should give credit to KRU. I think they've done fantastic in terms of marketing, but then you can still do better.
Obviously, I mean, money is never enough, and as just been mentioned, I mean, we still don't have a proper. I mean, we don't have a primary league. We don't have a primary championship, not for want of interest, but just for lack of the resources. So I know that Kenya Rugby can go up to a certain point, and Kenya Rugby must become ambitious. But you know, the ambition must be expressed by everyone in the country, and I'm telling you that honestly, we have a Ministry of Sports. But, you know, you struggle to see where the input is. The money that the country spends on, say, Ministry of Sports cannot only end at the headquarters, you know. We have to fundamentally change our thinking. And it's just a national psyche thing. You know, when you read the newspapers and what we keep arguing about, you start wondering, but where are the most important, where are the big things?
That's why today I think across all newspapers, we have the Rugby Sevens team flashed just on the first page. It's unprecedented. I've never seen this kind of thing except during Olympics. Should we be doing this and avoid politics?
I think, no, I think we should. Mike Gitonga maybe will agree with us, but I think we should lay more emphasis, because these are the heroes. These are the people that put Kenya on the map. Politicians never put Kenya on the map, unless for other reasons.
All of them, quite a number of them tweeted, and they were even
just a tweet.
tweeting wrongly. They are saying that we've won the
World Cup. They don't know even where we are. They don't know even where we are. But my question, Toskin, was, is there a second league for rugby? You know, like in football, we'll talk about the Division 1 or maybe the Division 2 and then the Super League and then the Kenya Premier. I mean, how is it in rugby? Like if you get a Colin Sinjera so good at Aquinas High School or Vihiga High School, I mean, will he jumps to black blood or Mwamba, or there's a development stage?
No, I mean, you make a very good point. Generally, the way rugby is organized in Kenya, we have a national sort of Premier League, the Kenya Cup, which Impala is chasing very hard and has just topped the preliminaries. Then we have the nationwide, that is right round. And obviously, we need to go many more levels down.
Like 2 levels.
The real challenge for Kenya Rugby is the fact that we have very good competition structures at school level, secondary school level, and that's because of resource, because parents spend money on the kids, so there's a lot of resource. But there's a very big jump between what happens at school. I mean, you'll find that teams like Impala have an academy, and which we've been building over the last 3-4 years. But there is that difference. When the fellows leave school, they can't go straight into they need like another 3 years of development. Yeah, they need another like 3-4 years. I mean, when you see Robert Aringo and Samuel Oliech breaking into the team right now, they left school in 2011.
No,
so, I mean, there is a big gap there that requires somebody to think about and invest in.
Yeah, we don't have much time, but then we can't finish this program before you talk about this, that there were critics of the rugby union and also the critics of coach Benjamin Ayimba. Does this win, does this victory silence Ayimba's critics and also KRU's?
When I was here last year, I told you that the game's albatross, the thing that is hanging on the game's back, most importantly, was the way the game is governed. Was the wrangles between the people who are involved in governance. So there was basically the directors. Now, with a bit of silence there, you know, people can focus, people can get ready. But on the fact of Ayimba, remember, this is a lead sport, and you're only as good as your last game. I promise you, if next week or at the next tournament we don't do as well, because you know now the expectations are a lot higher. Even people who are not interested in the game now know the game, and they'll be saying, we want our guys to perform at this level. So, you know, for a technical team to keep producing consistent results, you have to keep evolving. You have to keep changing. You have to keep reading the trends. You have to be on the pulse of the money. And this is what Benjamin and the Kenya Rugby Union Board of Directors must be. How do we resource Benjamin, and how does Benjamin resource himself in a way that enables him to consistently produce this level of results?
Thank you very much, Shadrack Odinga for coming through, and also Fred Ollows, Director of Rugby at Impala. But of course, we know that we are still celebrating, and the celebration will continue. Some have been calling for a national holiday today, but I think this is a working nation. Mike Gitonga, I'm told that you slept with your shoes on, you know, after that final win.
No, well, not with my shoes on, but I certainly had a very, very wonderful afternoon yesterday watching the game, and I think my son is one who was really amused, especially as the commentator was saying, "Oh, you know," as "Oh, you" was going towards the trial line. But I do agree with you, gentlemen, that there needs to be a huge investment, especially in rugby, and to filter it down to primary schools. You'll find that majority of the primary school kids, unless you're in one of those you know, high-end academies, not even primary schools, you probably would not experience rugby until much later. But it's good that the sport is growing, and at least with a win like this, even those who thought we've won the World Cup, at least now they know we've won something.
All our viewers, we want to thank you for, you know, being with us since we started this program in the morning, and we hope that we'll continue savoring this kind of wins, that KRU will continue churning out players that can make us proud. I've been your presenter, Robin Toskin. Until next week, let's do it again.